And I've been a member for a long time. And ever since I was a child, I've been bird watching. And since I was like 10 years old, I found a Peterson field guide in the library. And I was just amazed how many different kinds of birds there were, or there are, or there were actually. The numbers have declined since 1968 or whatever. But and I got my first set of binoculars by selling personalized Christmas cards, and I went out and I was mesmerized. So I want to ask everyone here, why watch birds? If someone would like to share your thought about why do you want to watch birds? Does anyone have any? Yes. Okay, so and what's your name again? Claire says she wants to share her space with them. They're all around us. So any other reasons why you want to learn, you want to watch birds? Okay, yes. Yes, they are outstanding. And what's your name? Sharon said they're outstanding and they're beautiful. Bronwyn? Right. Okay, Bronwyn says they show how our environment is, they actually are like dipsticks for the environment. There, and she also, what else did you say? Joy, beauty, calming. Okay, but like I said, they're they're like an of course the proverbial canary in the mine shaft. Birds are a gauge of how well the earth is, and unfortunately birds over the last few years, and actually what I'm going to do today, I'm going to show you, we're going to talk about bird watching in general. I'm going to show you a video that I created since COVID. I started going out in April of 2020, and almost every day I went filming birds to capture the birds. So I created a video that I'm going to show you in a few minutes that describes birds at different forest levels. And then we're going to talk a little bit about how to study birds. And the last thing I'm going to do is I'm going to show you a video about what's happening with birds in the environment and what we can do to prevent their populations from diminishing more. So that's what the whole objective of this presentation is. So I'm going to go ahead and start the PowerPoint. Birds are beautiful and fascinating to watch. I actually filmed this Baltimore Oriole in Costa Rica like about a week ago, because I went on a 21-day, actually I led 2 bird tours, and there were orioles that were migrating northward towards Maryland. So they're approaching us now. And in about a couple of weeks, if you go to Cromwell Valley Park, you'll be able to see orioles in their nests, or starting to build nests. Birding has a recreational exercise value. You go outside and you can find birds. The other thing about birding is it opens doors. Once people get into bird watching, they seem to look into other things, other natural history type of endeavors. For example, studying dragonflies, butterflies, and wildflowers. Now, I will mention the Baltimore Bird Club, who's sponsoring this along with the Natural History Society. And you can get out and meet others if you join the Baltimore Bird Club. They have field trips that are offered throughout the year. They have a calendar. And one of their objectives is to get more youth birding. And there's several years ago, I was in charge of the youth birding group, where we had, every month we had a field trip, and it's taken over by some other, another person in the club. But they also have a Maryland, it's Young MOS, which is an incredible group of youth who are out birding, and they participate in the World Series of Birding every year. So, so there's an option. So if you're interested in joining either the Baltimore Bird Club youth group or the statewide group. We want to try to get more young people into birds, into watching birds. Birding is also the thrill of competition. If you get into bird watching, some of you are probably already into bird watching. It's fun listing what birds you saw. Some people have yard lists. Some people have lists from the whole year. Some people have, if they use a website called eBird, which we'll describe later, you can list all the birds you've seen in your entire lifetime. There's also a World Series of Birding that's held every May in Cape May, New Jersey. And in 24 hours, teams of people go out and search how many birds they can find, and they give out trophies. And so there's a spirit of competition in birding also, once you get into it. Also, it's a lifestyle change. Once you get into bird watching, you'll want to plant wildflowers to attract birds to your yard. I was telling people earlier that I had a yard in Lutherville, and I planted all sorts of coneflower and bee balm, and the birds were everywhere. And then, but after a while, I sold my house and moved to a condo because I wanted to have more time to go bird watching. So, but other people may stay in your house and attract birds by planting wildflowers. There's also right now in the state of Maryland, I think we're on our 3rd year, there's the Maryland Breeding Bird Atlas, where everyone, there are blocks, the state is divided to blocks, and they record the breeding activity of the Maryland birds, and they're finding lots of information about how populations may have changed. For example, the bobwhite quail, like 30 years ago, I think when they first started they actually had more bobwhite quail, but agricultural, the way we plant crops has changed and their populations are diminishing. So we're learning about population trends using the data from the Maryland Breeding Bird Atlas, which anyone can participate in. And actually I participated in it, and as I'm walking around looking for breeding activity, it's increased my skill in birding, because I have to be more observant to find signs of nesting, such as birds carrying food or the actual nest, which you hardly ever find. So there's different ways of determining if there's activity. Now, nowadays, there's a great big digital trend. Bird watchers are turning into people with cameras because the technology has increased. In fact, my first video camera, I mainly videotape, had tapes that you had to rewind. Now it's all on a little disc. So technology is increasing. It's probably also encouraging more people to go out and watch birds. You go to a park nowadays, like Oregon Ridge, and sometimes you see like 5 or 6 people with cameras taking pictures of birds. So right now I want to show you the video that I produced that describes the birds at different forest levels. So I'm going to open this up, the video. And it's a 20-minute video. Whoop, that's the wrong one. This one. Okay. Here. No. Okay. All right, where'd it go? Is it in the folder? I might have to. Is it? I had it open, I think, a little while ago. It's actually, maybe I have a flash drive on here that would probably open. Oh, there you go. Okay.
Floor to canopy,
All right.
a guide to birds.
Now it's not on the big
screen. Deciduous forest. From the ground.
Let me stop that for a second. Okay, now it's started. Okay. Guess you can see it now.
To the treetops.
Let me just start.
Are you a teacher or bird? Okay. From forest floor to canopy, a guide to birds of the eastern deciduous forest. From the ground to the treetops. Are you a teacher or bird club program presenter? You can download the Jeopardy game to play after this video. Find the link in the video's description below. Learn about the brown-colored birds found in the forest floor and shrubs, the green-colored birds in the understory, and the colorful birds of the canopy. You will also discover birds found on the tree trunks and branches at all levels. All birds shown are found in the eastern United States. Most birds were filmed in the Maryland area. Before we move on, I want to show you ways birds avoid being a meal for a predator. Birds like this downy woodpecker are constantly scanning their surroundings for danger. The avian population is very wary, including these wood ducks. Our feathered friends will quickly scoot away or fly away if you get too close. Canadian geese lay many eggs that hatch out into many goslings. Unfortunately, many of these goslings will be eaten by such predators as great blue herons and alligators. Often colorful and found in all levels of the forest, warblers such as this male American redstart are skittish, quickly moving birds, difficult for a hawk to capture. Female warblers tend to be more subdued and camouflaged on the nest. Let's delve a little further into bird camouflage. During World War II, this spider plane was countershaded to reduce its likelihood of being spotted by the enemy. The top of the plane is dark, making it less likely to be spotted from above. An enemy pilot would have a harder time seeing the plane from below with its white shade blending with the sky. This eastern phoebe has a white belly, like the sky. A red-eyed vireo's green back enables it to blend in with the leaves, making it less likely to be spotted by a hawk from above. Birds on the forest floor, such as the eastern towhee, song sparrow, and ovenbird, blend in with the leaves. In the understory, the eastern phoebe and least flycatcher are greenish to avoid capture, as they often perch to catch flies midair. There's always an exception to any rule. The vermilion flycatcher is very showy with its bright red plumage. Among the foliage, you'll find vireos feasting on caterpillars, each preferring their own niche. Yellow-throated vireos are colorful, but high in the canopy, far from ground-based predators. Leafy-colored red-eyed vireos, singing throughout the day, are active in the understory. The white-eyed vireo, with tinges of yellow, can hide in a thicket when predators are nearby. The warbling vireo, warbling loudly, are also greenish and common in riparian trees. Let's visit the forest floor now. With its brown back and speckled belly, the wood thrush is very camouflaged sitting on this rotten stump. Wood thrushes kick and turn leaves and dig into the soil to find invertebrates such as beetles, caterpillars, spiders, and ants. This wood thrush is wrestling with a worm. Years ago, when I worked at a scout camp, the only one like song of the wood thrush heard from my tent was my alarm clock. The eastern towhee, like the wood thrush, also kicks and scrapes the ground for invertebrates. However, this red-eyed bird prefers thickets or brushy woodland, often near openings. The bird seems to say, "Drink your tea." The Carolina wren is a very common bird rummaging through the dead leaves and in the brambles of our forests. This one is perched next to a poison ivy vine. It seems to say, "Tweedle-o, tweedle-o, tweedle-o." You put water in a bird whistle to create a bubbly bird song. The house wren is common in shrubs and tangles, singing a similar song. Its song sounds like a bubbly bird whistle. The ovenbird feeds on insects, mostly at ground level. It looks like a miniature wood thrush. However, this bird has a black bordered orange stripe on its crown, a white eye ring, and a bobbing tail. Ovenbirds are named for their oven-like dome-shaped nest found on the ground with a side entrance. Let's look at birds that frequent the underbrush to protect themselves from predators. The white-eyed vireo with its white iris and black pupil is found in brushy areas and around sticker bushes. Here is a chattering white-eyed vireo carrying a moth for its nestlings. The bird song can be described as chip-a-zeer, chip. This male cardinal is singing loudly to establish its territory. Cardinals are often seen in low, brushy areas. This female is perched on a spice bush. Years ago, European settlers named the bird because it reminded them of the red vestments of the Catholic cardinal. 90% of this bird's diet, other than insects, is weed seeds, grains, and fruits. This cardinal is feeding on rose hips of the multiflora rose. After the outer coat of the hip is digested, the seeds will go through the bird's digestive tract to be defecated and fall to the ground. Some of the seeds will germinate and grow, helping to spread this invasive sticker bush. Another common bird in early stages of forest growth is the gray catbird. Catbirds are mostly gray with a black cap and red undertail coverts. The catbird's call sounds just like a cat. The common yellowthroat's call note sounds like a rubber band being twanged. The song can be described as witchety, witchety, witchety. The male bird has a black mask. Yellowthroats are found in brushy or marshy vegetation near water. The female lacks the black mask. The white-throated sparrow, a male seen here, is a very common ground and shrub bird in Maryland from mid-October to late April. The bird's summer breeding area is shown in red on this range map. The blue area is the winter range of the white-throated sparrow. The white-throat song resembles the phrase, "Long live Canada, Canada, Canada." On a snowy day, I came upon a white-throated sparrow kicking dirt to uncover seeds in any stages of insects it could find. Listen to the beautiful melody of a song sparrow. Song sparrows live in Maryland year-round, as indicated by the purple on this map. Another kind of sparrow, the dark-eyed junco, formerly aptly named the slate-colored junco, it migrates down to Maryland to spend the winter. It seems to bring the snow, hence the name snowbird, with a belly white as snow. The dark-eyed junco has a very musical, liquid trill. In streams flowing through forested areas, you may come upon a Louisiana water thrush. This bird wades and swims in the clean waters to feed on aquatic insects, such as mayflies and stoneflies. A stream with Louisiana water thrushes is often a good place to catch a trout. Both the bird and the fish feed on mayflies and stoneflies found in clean streams. Water thrushes singing at dusk have a loud ringing song. Nashville warblers breed in the Northwoods and stop by our forest in the fall on the way to the tropics. This one is taking a bath in a small woodland stream. A black-throated green warbler, a coniferous forest nester, is also migrating and stopping to take a dip. It's on its way to Central America. It is very energetic as it pops up and down. We will now take a look at the birds between the forest floor and shrub layer and the canopy layer. A forest layer we call the understory. If you are quiet and observant, you may be able to find a yellow-billed cuckoo in the understory. Yellow-billed cuckoos are commonly found where tent caterpillars are numerous. This cuckoo has a white spot on the ends of each of its long outer tail feathers. Oh, look, a cuckoo has just captured a praying mantis. The phoebe is a tail-wagging flycatcher. Phoebes arrive in my state of Maryland as early as March, as you can see from this eBird bar chart. The phoebe calls out its own name. A phoebe with a beak full of insects. It is ready to feed two young in a nest plastered to the concrete wall underneath a road bridge. I found this phoebe feeding its young underneath another bridge. Here is an eastern wood pewee scanning for insects on a perch. It will fly from the perch to grab an insect midair. This is called hawking or Sally gleaning for insects. Let's watch. Eastern wood pewees nest in the eastern United States during our summer when insects are plentiful enough to feed their young. They then migrate to South America for the winter season. Pewees and other flycatchers capture more than just flies. Shown here is the wide variety of prey that flycatchers will grab in midair or grasp from a leaf or branch. Researchers in the state of Virginia found that flycatchers divide up the habitat when hunting. This relationship is called resource partitioning. Least flycatchers commonly captured insects from a perch 8 meters from the ground. The eastern wood pewee's preferred perch was at 11 meters. The gray-crested flycatcher was seen most often hunting from a branch 16 meters up. Look, in the box elder tree, I see an Acadian flycatcher. This flycatcher is from the genus Impidonax. The word Impidonax is from the Greek word for mosquito king. Impidonax flycatchers look alike. They all have an olive green color with a thin eye ring. Birds of this genus can be separated by call and habitat. The Acadian flycatcher's call resembles the sound kerchip. Acadian flycatchers are common in streamside woodlands. Here is another Impidonax, a willow flycatcher, named for its preference for nesting in willow trees. Willow flycatchers can be identified by its fitzboo call. Of course, flying insects above the forest and in nearby fields never get a rest. Barn swallows swoop through the air to capture insect prey. Look at these barn swallows feeding their young like an acrobat. This tree swallow zooms in and hovers to feed its young. And what about these rough-winged swallows? There's a blue-headed vireo in the understory. Will it find a caterpillar? Yes, it found one. It is taking it up to the next branch. These birds consume many butterfly and moth larvae. Here is a red-eyed vireo. This is one of the most common forest birds. Its green color blends in with the understory. It just swallowed a wasp. Red-eyed vireos glean branches and leaves for insects, especially caterpillars. The red-eyed vireo's caterpillar diet changes throughout the year. 15% caterpillars are grazed in the spring. It goes up to 50% caterpillars during the summer, 20% caterpillars in the fall as it switches to a more fruit diet. In the vireo's winter range, mostly fruit are eaten. Red-eyed vireos sing throughout the day, whistling a cheery, "I'm here. Can't you see me? I'm here." From summer to fall, the cedar waxwings are now feeding on rose hips. Throughout the understory, golden and ruby-crowned kinglets, wintering in Maryland, feed on insects and insect eggs. This ruby-crowned kinglet is hovering to capture insects on seed pods. Year-round residents, tufted titmice, are great at feeding on caterpillars. Carolina chickadees will glean the branches and leaves and look for insects and insect eggs throughout the wintertime. Let's go to the treetops and learn about birds that live in the canopy. It is now the month of May in Maryland. Look up in the trees. The scarlet tanager has arrived after wintering in South America. This vivid red bird is a welcome summer breeder who likes to spend much time in the treetops. The female is greenish yellow. This bird has a steady diet of caterpillars high up in the trees. It prefers forest with white oak trees. This is the 1921 Baltimore Orioles baseball team. Way up high in a walnut tree is the bird that is on the baseball cap, a Baltimore Oriole. You will hear an Oriole's piping notes before you see him. The female oriole builds a woven pouch nest hanging from the ends of branches 25 to 30 feet high in a tree. Audubon's painting places the hanging basket nest in a tulip tree. This warbler has a rising trill that drops at the end. Walk on a trail that is along the forested Gunpowder River and you might see a northern parallel warbler in the canopy. It does go low. This one was filmed at eye level. Every summer, I look forward to seeing the indigo bunting singing from the top of a tree at the edge of a field. The song of the male bird is a high-pitched buzzed sweet, 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 choo, choo, sweet, sweet, lasting 2 to 4 seconds, sung to mark his territory to other males and to attract females. This is a red-shouldered hawk. It appears to have what looks like half-moon-shaped translucent windows in the primary feathers that are easily observed on a sunny day. This adult red-shouldered hawk was filmed right outside my kitchen window, sitting on an oak tree. This raptor hunts from a perch. It will dive down quickly to capture a chipmunk or snake. It has been recorded to have snatched an occasional starling or dove from beneath the bird feeder. I found this red-tailed hawk sitting in a tree at Oregon Ridge Park. Red-tailed hawks are buteos with wings that have much surface area and fan-shaped tails for gliding high in the air. Buteos soar on thermals, which are columns of warm air that rise high as a mile. Red-tailed hawks are lifted upward by the thermals and ride from one thermal to the next. Look at this red-tailed hawk flying on a thermal. This cauldron of juvenile Cooper's hawks was filmed in a residential community. Cooper's hawks are bird hawks called sap-feeders with long tails. They can maneuver through the forest to capture small birds. They also prey on birds at bird feeders. Birds and many rodents probably do not sleep soundly when the barred owl is on the prowl. This barred owl is being mobbed by robins. What's that bird climbing up the tree? Let's examine birds climbing on tree trunks and branches, and sometimes even electric utility poles. White-breasted nuthatches are common year-round residents in deciduous forests. They are often seen creeping upside down on tree trunks and branches, searching for insects, adults, larvae, and eggs. Nuthatches also like to store seeds. This one remembers where it placed a sunflower seed. Oh, wow, I see a brown creeper. It is a small bird that creeps up a tree trunk to suck up insect eggs and larvae found in the crevices of the bark with its curved bill. Woodpeckers, such as this downy woodpecker, prevent insect populations from getting out of hand in woodlands. With their stiff tail and zygodactyl feet, 2 toes facing forward and 2 toes facing back, they prop themselves on tree trunks, constantly pecking as they drill for wood-boring insects, such as beetle larvae and carpenter ants. The downy has a short pinprick bill. This is a hairy woodpecker. As you can see, its bill is much longer, and the bird is considerably bigger than the downy woodpecker.
Oh, wow. Are those birds ivory-billed woodpeckers?
No, you are looking at a pair of pileated woodpeckers. This species is now more common than 100 years ago in areas where the forests have returned. In contrast, the now extinct ivory-billed woodpecker, due to overhunting and habitat loss, is extinct. This bird is common in moist woodlands that include large trees. Pileated woodpeckers dig into trees with their chisel-sharp beaks and with a sticky barbed tongue extract carpenter ants and beetle larvae. You might come upon a pileated woodpecker feeding on carpenter ants found on a rotten log or stump. In Maryland, I look forward to seeing yellow-bellied sapsuckers in the wintertime. The orange areas on this North American map shows the sapsucker's breeding range. The blue areas represent the bird's winter range. The holes that the sapsucker drills are called sap wells. The sapsucker will sip sap and also find insects to eat in the sap wells. Yellow-bellied sapsuckers visit several trees to maintain the sap wells. Many species of birds visit the wells to sip sap, including the downy woodpecker and white-breasted nuthatch. Did you know that the ruby-throated hummingbird will often build its nest close to sap wells to sip sap? Thank you for watching this video about birds at different forest layers. You can learn all about birds by visiting my YouTube channel. Please subscribe.
Oh, thank you.
This is an amazingly beautiful bird called a hooded warbler.
Oh, this is an advertisement.
Unfortunately, a house cat killed this hooded warbler. According to the American Bird Conservancy, approximately 2.4 billion birds are killed by house cats in the United States alone. So please, keep cats inside so birds live.
Okay, I'm a proponent of keeping cats indoors because they can do a lot of damage. I know people complain about windmills but anyway, there's going to be a short video at the end, but I just really prefer that we keep our cats indoors to keep cats from killing all these birds. So what I'm going to do now to get everyone involved in the presentation is we're going to come up with 10 ways. I have to go to you from beginning. No, from current slide. Okay. Trying to advance it. Okay. All right. I'm gonna get used to it. Thank you. Yeah, well, this one right here, but it's not advancing for some reason. Okay, here we go. So now I'm going to show you how to identify a bird using a field guide. Taking you through the steps, using the bird, you already know what it is, the yellow-bellied sapsucker, because you saw a video of it. So I'm not going to go through this because you already know, but I'm going to show you the steps to identify a bird using a field guide. I'm also going to show you other ways that are that use technology to identify birds. So I'm a proponent of, if you're a new bird watcher, to use a field guide. Get familiar with your field guide, use it, and then move over to using phone apps, which are very useful. So if you look at the field marks, what features here in the audience, if you could, that would you use to help you identify this bird? Can anyone looking at that bird, what features? What's your name again? Camden. So what features, Camden, would you use to identify this bird? Right. And if you look at the wing, it has like a white stripe. That's like the only woodpecker that lives in this area with that white stripe. So if I see a bird with a white stripe, then I know it's a yellow-bellied sapsucker. And also, as Camden mentioned, it has a red throat and it has a red crown. Okay. Black and white wing. Very good. Yes. Can everyone still hear me? Okay. Now, also the behavior. Now, what kind of bird, what general group of bird was this yellow-bellied sapsucker acting like, Camden? A woodpecker. So we could look up woodpecker in our index of our field guide. Also the habitat, it was found in the trees. The sound, it sounds like a cat, the thing we want to keep inside. It sounds like a cat. It goes meow. Also the morphology, the woodpeckers have zygodactyl feet, which means 2 toes facing forward, 2 toes facing back. And it also props its tail against a tree, and it has a drilling type beak. And also the range is a good thing. You won't find a yellow-bellied sapsucker in Maryland in the middle of the summer generally. Sometimes, there's always exceptions. But if you go to Vermont, where I worked at a camp when I retired from teaching, there was one that woke me up every morning at 5 o'clock as it drummed against a pole. And I went bird watching after it woke me up at 5 o'clock in the morning. So what we're going to do is I actually have 15 field guides, and it looks like there's 15 people in the audience, so we can all use the same field guide. So if you could help pass these out. Yes. Yes. Okay, so everyone grab a field guide. I guess I'm going to keep one. Well, no, actually, I have it on the. Anyone else want a field guide? You can share. There's one more here. Okay, I guess it's more than 15 people. All right, and these are on loan from the Bird Club. Okay, but so what we're going to do is we're going to take you through the field guide, and there's one more field guide here if somebody wants to use it. There's one more. Okay, you can pass it back. And like I said, these are on, I wish I could just give these to you, but these are on loan from the Bird Club. All right, so the first thing you're going to do is, as Camden said, right? He said woodpecker. So in the beginning of the field guide, in the inside flap of your field guide, there is a quick find index. And if we look under woodpecker, which page should we go to? So if we go to 306, then we could look through the pages starting at 306. So everyone go to page 306. Well, you already know what it is, but try to find it in the field guide find it on the page, and you'll notice what page is the yellow-bellied sapsucker on. Has anyone found it yet? As you look through the pages, 310. So when we go to 310, we can see that there are several birds here, and we could use these features. I'm going to show you the features. First feature we can use is the range map. And this bird, as you can see, was found in Maryland, and there's snow, so it was the winter time. And the yellow-bellied sapsucker is definitely here in the winter time. Okay, so we can look at the range. The red area is a breeding range, and the blue is winter, and the yellow is where the birds migrate through. The other thing we can look at is, like Camden said earlier, the field marks, the red crown and the red throat. And the female, how do we know if it's a male or female? What would the female, go ahead, Camden. Very good. White, Camden says it has a white throat. And this, so the one in the video is what, Camden? Is that a male? It's a male, very good. So we could also use, well, I just mentioned that, the voice. And this says gives a querulous descending mewing call. I think you should also say it sounds like a cat, but I guess they want to be more scientific than that. Also fairly common in deciduous mixed forest, highly migratory, very rare in West. So it goes over the, all right, so now what we're going to do is you all are going to identify this bird. And we're going to go through the steps. Now, what kind of bird do you think this is? It's a duck. So in the quick index, what would you look under? All right, so everyone look under duck and tell us what page ducks start at. And then you're going to flip through and everyone's going to identify the bird as a group. Now that I've demonstrated the process, you're going to demonstrate so what page does the duck start at? Look, 24. So it's towards the beginning of the book. And notice this duck has like a white behind its head, and it has a white on the head, on the crown, and then it has like a red, and it says, oh, and it's feeding on oysters. This was actually found near Cambridge, Maryland. Now, as you flip through the pages, actually, I'm going to go to the page where everyone should be. So, all right, there it is. Look through the pages. So, did anyone find it yet? Oh, maybe we should go. Well, all right, go ahead, Camden. It's a surf scoter. And how do you know it's a surf scoter, Camden, or a star bird identifier? How do you know? Very good. So it matches the picture. And also it's here in the winter time, because if you look at the range map, it says it's here in the winter. Now I'm going to very good. Now, go ahead. Very good. Yes, not a female, because the female looks a little more like it's acid rain, it's a little more bleached out. All right, now, the other neat thing about is, as you study birds, you study the behavior. When I saw this bird, when it flew away, it whistles. So I'm going to actually show you the video of it whistling. So there, yeah, you can see how it matches. Like Camden said, it matches all the field guide. But watch this. All right, hurry up. There it goes. So if you were like Chan Robbins, who would be able to identify birds by their notes, if you heard that whistling noise at night, you would know it's a surf scoter nearby. So it's not just, we can use sound. Sound is very important. All right, now I'm going to show you a very quick video about another way of identifying birds. So why don't we pass the bird books up forward, And so that we can concentrate on the video. And then you could purchase these I got purchase these on Amazon, or you could purchase them. All right. So we're going to show you how to use a video. This is a really good video about how to use iBird. Is anyone familiar with iBird already? Oh, good. That means you're learning new things. So I'm going to play the video. You might want to turn the lights off again. I guess I have to hit the, there.
You might wonder if today's high-tech world has anything to offer birders. The answer is yes. Birders can now take advantage of the remarkable technology of smartphones and tablets. Smartphones, such as the iPhone, now harness this power, which makes bird identification fast and accurate. iBird, for example, turns a novice into a birding expert. Using its powerful decision engine, iBird lets you select color, shape, and other attributes, and then finds all the species that match. Using a simple touch interface, birders tap icons to reveal far more details than any field guide. iBird plays bird songs, shows you similar birds, records notes, locates birds using GPS, and much more.
So that's a very short video. That's a very short video introducing you to a way of identifying birds using technology. Yes. Okay. Oh gosh. What was her name? Karen O wants to know what field guide. There are many different field guides. I like the National Geographic. I also like Sibley. Sibley, the larger Sibley is incredibly detailed for identifying birds, especially birds like shorebirds. There's the larger Sibley, which is the entire United States. And there's the one that's just the Eastern, which is lighter. But I would just say it's your preference too. But Sibley and National Geographic, Peterson is still publishing a field guide. Kaufman uses pictures. Kaufman. So there are many different field guides. You just have to go to the library and try out different ones, whatever your preference. I generally use. I don't take it out in the field with me because I use iBird. And when I go home, I use the Sibley, that's the whole United States. And every once in a while I consult, but that's what I generally use. Now, when you get all this bird data, when you're looking at birds, there's this really cool website that's all over the world called eBird. And eBird is something you can connect into, and you can actually contribute to science, which is very much what the goal of this organization is, Natural History Society. So I'm going to show you a short video that describes how to use eBird to record your bird sightings. So you can go around with your phone as you look at birds and record everything on your phone. And you don't have to write anything. So I'm going to show you, this is a short video that describes eBird. Very well done video.
Today, millions of people around the world enjoy watching birds and recording their sightings.
There are a way to take all of these observations, yours, ours, everyone's, and put them all in one place.
If we could do this, we would fundamentally transform not just birding, but science and conservation.
From this idea emerged eBird. Put simply, eBird is a way for anyone around the world to store their birding observations, their photos, their sound recordings, and make them available to educators, scientists, and birders. It's incredibly easy to use, and it's incredibly powerful. All you do is let us know where you went birding, when, how far you traveled, and what you saw. It's powerful because hundreds of thousands of people all around the world are doing it, and it's growing. eBird already safeguards 500 million sightings. Information that allows all of us to understand the movements and needs of birds at global scales. eBird maintains your lists for you, and shares them with other birders from around the world. By sharing, it's now possible for anyone, anywhere, to find your target birds and the best birding hotspots any time of the year. Before eBird, there was no way to comprehensively understand population-level movements of many species. By combining your sightings with remote-sensed habitat data from NASA, we're able to generate species distribution models that provide an unparalleled view of where and when birds are in the landscape. Scientists and students all over the world are now able to use eBird datasets for their research at a variety of spatial scales. These observations help inform better conservation strategies, opening the door to the future of bird conservation. And this is just the beginning. With the help of millions of people who come to eBird each year, we are creating a free, open access system that is easy to use, fun, and rewarding. Rewarding for birders, for scientists, for conservationists, and ultimately the birds themselves. Go to ebird.org or download eBird Mobile to get started, all for free. By joining eBird, you're joining a global team of people that share your passion for birds. Be a part of it.
Okay, so you can use eBird. You can join it. It's free, and it's also a great, like when you're trying to find birds, you can look at. It'll show you where the birds are found. What they call hot spots. Birders use that all the time. Okay, so what's next here? Now I have a website that I'm just going to mention briefly, and I've been creating videos the last 2 years. And you could actually go to the videos and you can, I have some quiz videos and I have some other videos about birds in general that you're to find it, you just have to type the words bird identification and Marty. And that's another way of learning about birds. So I've been doing this, like I said, for 2 years. And as I film more birds, I update the videos. Like right now, I have filmed about 200 species of birds. And I went on a trip to 2 tours of Costa Rica. I just got back from a week ago and I have like 100 Costa Rican birds. Does anybody know what this bird is? This is called a resplendent quetzal. And it is a bird that's in Costa Rica, and it is an incredible bird. And I was able to get footage of the bird. So that will be appearing. I'm working on the video right now. And in another week or so, I'll have a video that has 100 Costa Rican birds. So a good reason to visit the website. There's some incredible birds in Costa Rica. There's other websites. There's one called Leslie the Bird Nerd. She's been doing this for 10 years, and she actually feeds birds out of her hand. She lives in Canada. There's another one called Badgerland Birding. There's 2 brothers that go birding, and they take you on their bird hikes. So you can learn about birds on YouTube too. And also you can travel the world to watch birds and birding hotspots. And this is actually the video of the quetzal that I took. This is the group I went with. And I actually offer some bird watching courses at the Community College of Baltimore County. And I have a workshop, bird songs, next Wednesday. I have 2 classes starting next week. And I will also be leading some tours of Ecuador and Costa Rica next year. And if you're interested in any of them, all you have to do is email me at scoutnaturalist@gmail.com, and I would be glad to send you information. Also, Cornell University actually has a bird academy where you could take courses to learn about birds. Now, one other, before I show you the last video, which is like a 7-minute video, I'm offering a Seton Scout Naturalist program at Broad Creek Scout Camp, and will have birds as one of the focuses. And I'm trying to get more scouts. So far, I have 7 people registered. So if you know of any scouts out there, you can have them email me at scoutnaturalist@gmail.com. Now, the last thing I want to show you before I show you the last video is that there's another app called Merlin. And Merlin, you can actually download. It's a free site, but I turned off my phone. And what you can do is you can just aim your app at the bird and it will identify it for you. So and I turned my phone off because I thought I might get a call. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you this last video, which is about 7 minutes long, and it will, I'm going to have to find it again. And this, yes. Sure. I'd be glad to do that. All right, now I'm trying to find the video here. It's probably online. Yeah, bird threats. Yeah.
Why are bird numbers
Okay, this is the
declining?
last part of the
How
program.
you can help. Warblers are challenging to film as they move quickly through trees. Compounding the challenge, since 1970, there has been a drastic decline in warblers and other migratory birds. The destruction of large areas of rainforests in Central and South America for such uses as cattle ranching and palm oil plantations, along with the negative effects of forest fragmentation, has led to the severe decline of bird populations in the United States and throughout the world. Let's protect forests for humanity as well as birds. Let's look at the wood thrush. Saving tropical forests is much needed, especially due to the fact that wood thrushes and other migratory birds winter in Central America, an area much smaller than their North American breeding range. You can help conserve bird life by giving to environmental organizations that work towards protecting rainforests and other habitats. Reduce mine numbers to protect bird habitat. Wood thrushes have also been impacted by the increased populations of deer in our woodlands. Deer overgrazing has led to a nearly bare forest floor. This deer overgrazed forest floor is now entirely New York ferns, a plant deer prefer not to forage. Deer forage on native wildflowers, eliminating them from the landscape. When you have many deer in a forest, you'll have less acorns, leaving few oak saplings for nesting wood thrushes, creating a condition whereupon wood thrush nests are more exposed to predators such as Cooper's hawks. The reintroduction of wolves to Yellowstone National Park has reduced the population of elk, benefiting wildlife. In heavily populated Maryland, we would not be able to reintroduce this wolf into the forest. Hunting can reduce deer populations. Meet Wayne, a deer hunter in the Baltimore area. Why do you hunt deer?
I just like the sport of getting outdoors, being up in a tree, and I love the meat. It's something I've been doing for probably 40 years.
Do you think deer is a problem now?
I think they're getting overpopulated with more buildings and roads coming in, and the woods are shrinking. And then if they're not hunted, right now they do have some predators, coyotes that are in Maryland everywhere. But besides that, it's either hit by a car or hunters harvest them. And I love to put them on the grill.
Roadkill deer can provide food for an increasing vulture population, or in a safely managed harvest, deer venison can be sold in supermarkets and given to food pantries to feed the homeless. Prevent invasive plants from replacing native vegetation. An ever-increasing population of deer has resulted in a tremendous increase in the growth of non-native and also native invasive plants. Deer don't like to eat pricker bushes, so many woodlands I birdwatch in are covered in the invasive wineberry and multiflora rose. Ouch! This hillside is covered in Japanese barberry, a non-native shrub purchased at garden centers and escaped from yards. Deer avoid this spiny plant. Deer avoid many aromatic plants such as spicebush. This Loch Raven Reservoir woodland is now mostly covered in spicebush and the invasive Japanese stiltgrass. Too many deer has contributed to the decline of hooded and Kentucky warblers that nest in shrubby areas in forests. Bee Tree Preserve in northern Baltimore County has an active hunting program. With such a program, I've noticed a much healthier shrub layer that will benefit ground nesting warblers. What about large trees? They are also threatened. Yes, we have many vines such as Oriental bittersweet and porcelain berry that will climb up trees, covering over branches and eventually leading to a tree's demise. The Northampton Furnace Trail bordering Loch Raven Reservoir is mostly dead trees due to the strangling effect of many non-native climbing vines. In the 1930s, over 3 billion trees were planted by the Civilian Conservation Corps. Governments and volunteer agencies can host their own conservation corps to plant native trees and remove invasive vines and plants from our forests. Keep me, a starling, from evicting bluebirds from nest boxes. Eastern bluebirds are beautiful with their bright blue back, brown breast, and white belly. These birds are found in more open wooded areas that are near fields. You can create a bluebird trail to attract bluebirds. Keep starlings for nesting in your bluebird box. A hole 1.5 inches in diameter will keep starlings from squeezing into the nest box. The smaller size house sparrow can evict bluebirds. The birds are not federally protected. You can remove the nests from bluebird boxes. Bluebird boxes will also welcome iridescent blueback tree swallows and bubbly voiced house wrens. Scouts set up bluebird boxes at Broad Creek Scout Camp. I sponsored a box at Broad Creek Boy Scout Camp, a place I used to work at a long time ago. 50 years ago, this white oak tree grew in a field with branches spread wide to catch the sun's rays. The field has now since reverted to forest. Scarlet tanagers prefer to nest in white oak trees. An Ohio State University study found that many migratory birds, especially the scarlet tanager, prefer to nest in white oak trees. Will these birds disappear from our forests and steer preventing oak forest regeneration? Landowners can plant a variety of oaks and other deciduous trees in grow tubes that prevent deer from foraging on oak saplings. Scarlet tanagers are often victims of cowbird parasitism. You can see a male brown-headed cowbird on a stag. The female shown here is light brown all over. Cowbirds are found near forest edges because they feed in grassy areas on seeds and insects like grasshoppers. Cowbirds have contributed to the decline of many migratory songbirds due to the fact that female cowbirds in the fictional police lineup here lay their eggs in other birds' nests. Scientists label such egg-laying behavior as brood parasitism. This phoebe nest now has a cowbird egg. The phoebe is now the foster parent of this young cowbird. This webcam shows a cowbird entering a cardinal nest, laying an egg, and then taking one of the cardinal's eggs out of the nest. Brood parasitism is most common in fragmented forest areas where the cowbirds can lay eggs in bird nests that are near fields. The best way to encourage more migratory bird nesting is to have large areas of forest that are less susceptible to cowbird brood parasitism. Keep me inside to protect birds. Unfortunately, a house cat killed this hooded warbler. According to the American Bird Conservancy, approximately 2.4 billion birds are killed by house cats in the United States alone. So please, keep cats inside so birds live. The U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service states that wind turbines kill up to 500,000 birds a year in America. American Bird Conservancy advocates electric companies place turbines away from major bird migration corridors. Painting one of the blades black can also prevent bird collisions. Prevent me from hitting reflective glass. This American redstart needs to keep away from windows. According to the Audubon Society, up to 1 billion birds, including redstarts, die each year in the United States due to collisions with windows. And research shows that 54 to 76% of window collisions are fatal. Placing hawk silhouette decals on your glass windows will help prevent bird collisions. Birds are attracted to lit buildings at night. Local organizations like Lights Out Baltimore are working to decrease bird collisions on buildings. Unlit buildings are less likely to have bird strikes. I hope this video will encourage you to help protect birds so future generations can enjoy watching them as I do. You can learn all about birds by visiting my channel. Please subscribe.
Okay. Well, thank you. So this concludes my presentation. However, if anyone has any questions that you have, or if people online have questions, I'd be glad to entertain. And maybe since my phone is working, I could show you how the Merlin thing works here. Why don't I do that right now? Now I had that. All I have to do is get a video of a bird. I can even use one of the birds here that are and I can show you how to use the website. It's got to be one that's fairly close. Actually, I had a scarlet tanager here. Oh, here's a bluebird. Let's see if it works on the bluebird. So I put the app on. Merlin. Okay, I'm going to see it says, can you see it? It says photo ID. So I'm going to click on the photo ID and I'm going to look at the bluebird. And I click on it and make a photo. So I took a photo of the bird. And then it says use photo. So I use photo. And look, it shows the bird. And then I have to make sure it's in the entire, and then it says choose different, no, this is a good photo. And then I click next. And when I click next, it says identify. And when I do that, it shows me the eastern bluebird. So you can use this app, but you have to get really close to the bird for it to work. And some warblers are not very cooperative. So does anyone, yes, question? Wants to know where to find scarlet tanagers. I will have to say this. They're less in population because partially probably because of deer, because deer feed on acorns, excuse me, and also you have to go to areas where there are lots of white oak trees because scarlet tanagers prefer white oak trees. Unfortunately, you know, like where I like to hike at Oregon Ridge Park, they cut down a lot of white oak trees because they had a tree harvest. And when they did that, they opened up the forest, and now the forest is covered with wineberry, multiflora rose, lots of tulip tree saplings, because the deer eat all the acorns. So when the acorns fall, the deer eat all the acorns, and there's no regeneration. So that's a big problem we're having, and that will probably contribute to the diminished populations of scarlet tanagers. And that's why, again, you should go around planting white oak trees. Like if you go to Cromwell Valley Park, there's a large area where they planted oak trees. So any other questions? Yes. There's one that the one that goes tea kettle, tea kettle, tea kettle is the Carolina wren. White-throated sparrow is long live Canada, 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 or old Sam Peabody, Peabody, Peabody. White-throated sparrow. It's like the most common bird in brushy areas in the wintertime. Okay, question? How do I feel about bird feeders? Well, I don't feed birds myself, but I think there's a topic for debate because some people believe that, one thing about bird feeders, it gets people into birds. So that's the positive thing about bird feeders. It gets people really into birds, and that's an important thing. Some people will say that if you have a lot of bird feeders, it also open up to predation by like accipiters, like the population of Cooper's hawk has increased over the years because there's more food that are easy to prey on. But it's a debatable topic, and I'm not the expert to answer that question. I'm on that topic. Yes. Well, the other thing about bird feeding is that a lot of squirrels will eat up your bird seed. So, and there are videos on YouTube where they have squirrel-proof bird feeders, and it doesn't, no such thing as a squirrel-proof squirrel. Right. On your window? Oh, wow. There are products available, but like I said, at a small window, probably the silhouettes is probably good enough generally. I have a plastic owl on my deck because there was a robin that hit the glass and there's poop all over the window, which I had to clean up. So I went to Aldi and I got a plastic owl and I stuck it there, and I haven't had a problem because they see the owl and they're like, So, question. What's the name of the person? Pia wants to know if there's some favorite websites, bird watching sites. Well, there is eBird covers the entire United States, but places to go bird watching. Along the Sino Canal is an incredibly good area to go bird watching. There's also Patuxent National Wildlife Refuge, which is near Laurel. That's a good spot. You know, in areas that are magnets like Central Park, it's not DC, but attracts birds. And there's also, in more general, like Point Pelee, and there's McGee Marsh, which is in Ohio, where the birds funnel through. And then there's also Cape May. But in Washington, those places I mentioned, the C&O Canal is an incredible spot for bird watching. Okay. I am sort of like, because she wants to know binoculars. I kind of like, I'm starting to work for a manufacturer called Vortex, and partially because they sent me 6 pairs of binoculars for free, because I work with the Boy Scouts and I was surprised. And they also have a guarantee, but there are many other different binoculars, but I have a Vortex Viper. There's also Vortex, there's several different brands by Vortex that you can use. I know what kind of you have, Kevin. What kind of binoculars do you have, Kevin? I guess he's not. What kind of binoculars do you have? He has Vortex. Yeah, so and the nice thing about the binoculars now is most of them are waterproof, because I have older pairs that once they get wet, they're dead. And they also are, a lot of them are close focusing. So if you can get binoculars that focused up to, like, sometimes they can focus to your feet. You can use them to look at butterflies or hummingbirds and things like that. But the technology has advanced incredibly in binoculars, and the prices are competitive, probably because a lot of them are made in China. Like the Vortex ones are made in China, basically. To start, generally, for if you're a child, they say 6 or 7 power. If you're an adult, like 8 power. Once you get better, like I have 10 power binoculars. The thing about the 10 power is they're a little heavier, and also the field of view, the how large the lens is, it will let more light in. So, but there are like there are YouTube websites that go over binocular selection that you can consult that would show you some ways of purchasing binoculars. So, all right, it looks like, well, any more questions? Yes. eBird. Okay, that's a very good question. What's your name, by the way? Jennifer is asking about playing sounds. I think it's something that if you're in an area that has a lot of bird watchers, then you should refrain from using sounds to track recordings, because the birds get confused, especially during the breeding season. However, if you're in an area that gets very few bird watchers, then you could use it to attract a bird, but I wouldn't overuse it, because it can be damaging to the bird's breeding cycle if they think another bird's in the area and they might, I don't know, but that is a concern that people have. There's sometimes it's used too much and it's damaging to the birds. Camden? Mm-hmm. I have a digital video camera that's made by Canon, and I've had it for 2-3 years. I actually took it to Australia, and I was filming birds in Australia. And then during COVID, I said, I think I should do the United States birds. And so I started filming, but now I'm like interested in getting like a $5,000 camera, because it's like, I want to get really, because it's kind of envy, because these people with digital cameras, they take a picture and the bird looks incredibly, a camera just can take a real quick picture, but a video, you know, you have to capture captures the movement. It's harder. So you have to spend a lot of money to get a, so I might upgrade to a better camera. Why not? Yes. I have a Canon XA11, I believe it's called, but it's been out for like 4 or 5 years. So if you're hunting for a new video camera, I would recommend, you could go to B&H Photo in New York. There are a lot of experts there. I would get the more recent camera. I wouldn't get the one I have. Like the one I had 12 years ago uses tapes, and I don't think I can even sell it because nobody wants, the technology is improving so incredible. Yes, question? Yes, you could, yeah, you could go locally and look at, yes. Okay. Right, that's on the Sino. And that's where the painted bunting, well, actually on the Sino Canal, there was a painted bunting that was seen. Yeah, Great Falls is a great spot for birding, so. Well. Well, thank you very much for everyone attending and learning about birds. And I hope you all go out and do some bird watching. Like this is May, beginning of May is like bird watching bonanza. Yeah.
Everybody, let's thank you. Thank you. Just a couple of housekeeping. If you need to go to the bathroom, take a right at the T-Rex. When you are exiting the parking lot, I recommend you do not go out to Bel Air Road. It's kind of a dangerous way to exit. So just go out on whatever Chesley Road, and you kind of have to follow it around, and you can come out here, and there's a red light, and that will help you get onto Bel Air Road. The gift store is open, so we have very interesting things, lots of different fossils and used books, and so nope. Well, there's bird books in there, so take a look. The bird guides, when we get those, they come in. We do take donations of used books on all topics of natural history or science, and we have a big book sale in the summer, so that'll be watching for that in August or early September when we get that scheduled. So I do hope that we will see you all here or online at more programs coming up, and visit us at www.marylandnature.org for a complete listing, because what I talked about was only a smattering of what's coming up. So everybody take care, stay well, stay curious, and stay birding.